Hello viewers, and welcome to today's program, Saints of the Day. My name is Brother China Nkonde. Today's program is slightly different in that we are not exactly looking at a saint. Rather, we are looking at the memorial of Our Lady of Lourdes. So, let us listen in and see what it is that we can learn from this memorial of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Our Lady of Lourdes is a title of the Virgin Mary. She is venerated under this title by the Roman Catholic Church due to her apparitions that occurred in Lourdes, France. The first apparition of 11th February 1858, Bernadette Soberus, who is the center of these apparitions, aged 14, told her mother that a lady spoke to her in the cave at a place called Masabie while she was gathering firewood with her sister and a neighbor. Bernadette went with her sister Dionette and a neighbor Jeanne to collect some firewood. While taking off her shoes and stockings to wade through the water near the grotto of Masabie, she said she heard the sound of 2 gusts of wind, but the trees and the bushes nearby did not move. A wild rose in the grotto, however, did move. She said, "I came back towards the grotto and started taking off my stockings. I had hardly taken off the first stocking when I heard a sound like a gust of wind. Then I turned my head towards the meadow. I saw the trees quite still. I went on taking off my stockings. I heard the same sound again. As I raised my head to look at the grotto, I saw a lady dressed in white, wearing a white dress, a blue girdle, and a yellow rose on each foot, the same color as the chain of her rosary. The beads of the rosary were white. A dazzling light was shining from the inner cave behind her. Bernadette tried to make the sign of the cross, but could not, as her hands were trembling. The lady smiled and invited Bernadette to pray the rosary with her. Bernadette tried to keep this a secret, but Dionette, her sister, told her mother. After parental examination, cross-examination, she and her sister received some corporal punishment for their story. 3 days later, on February 14th, Bernadette returned to the grotto. She had brought hot water with her as a test that the apparition was not of an evil origin. She said, and we quote, "The second time was the following Sunday. Then I started to throw holy water in her direction. At the same time, I said that if she came from God, she was to stay, but if not, she must go." She started to smile and bowed. This was the second time. End of quote. There were many of these apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary to Bernadette. On 18th February, she spoke of being told by the lady to return to the grotto over a period of 2 weeks. Among the things she was told was that the lady did not promise to make her happy in this world, but in the next. Bernadette was ordered by her parents never to go there again. She went anyway. On the 24th February, Bernadette related that the apparition asked for prayer and penitence for the conversion of sinners. The next day, she said the apparition asked her to dig in the ground and drink from the spring she found there. This made her lose some of her supporters, but this act revealed the stream that soon became a focal point for pilgrimages. Although it was muddy at first, the stream became increasingly clear. As word spread, this water was given to medical patients of all kinds, and many reports of miraculous cures followed. 7 of these cures were confirmed as lacking any medical explanation by a professor. These were just pure miracles of healing. The first person with a certified miracle was a woman whose right hand had been deformed as a consequence of an accident. She got healed. Several other miracles turned out to be short-term. Others were an improvement on the patients, and others were not just true claims from the people who claimed to have been healed. The Catholic Church and the government officials became increasingly concerned. So the government fenced off the grotto, issued stiff penalties for anybody trying to get near the off-limits area. In the process, Lourdes became a national issue in France, resulting in the intervention of Emperor Napoleon III with an order to reopen the grotto on the 4th of October 1858. The church had decided to stay away from the controversy altogether. Bernadette continued to visit the grotto, and the Virgin Mary revealed herself as Immaculate Conception. The Catholic Church, faced with nationwide questions, decided to institute an investigation commission on 17th November 1858. Then on 18th January 1860, the local bishop finally declared that the Virgin Mary did appear indeed to Bernadette. These events established the Marian veneration in Lourdes, which together with Fatima and the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe is one of the most frequented Marian shrines in the world, and to which between 4 and 6 million pilgrims travel every year. The veracity of the apparitions of Lourdes is not an article of faith for Catholics. Nevertheless, in all recent popes have visited the Marian shrine at some point. That is Benedict XV, Pius XI, John the 23rd, who went there as a bishop, and then Pius XII as a papal delegate. St. John Paul II visited Lourdes 3 times in the time of his papacy. This was the life of St. Bernadette and the beginning of the veneration of the Lady of Lourdes. what is our reflection? It's been a long time since I don't know about others, heard of an apparition of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Does it mean that God has stopped coming to us using this certain medium? When last did you hear that an angel appeared to someone in real life? Does it mean that God has stopped sending messengers in this form? Personally, when did I, or when did you even have a dream where an angel appeared? Or even in a dream where Jesus appeared? Does it mean that God has stopped talking to us that much? It may seem so when you look at these things as I've been talking about. What do you think? But the truth is that today, if you want, you can surround yourself with God's messages easily. You and I can surround ourselves intentionally with God speaking to us, even through social media, through the priests, through friends, through the parents, through workmates. We do not need a big phenomenon to hear God. Maybe God wants us to hear Him from our hearts and not from our senses of sight or hearing in the way that breaks the normal order of the day, as we have been seeing in the apparitions. If God wanted to make an apparition, God can. One thing that is clear is that God still speaks. Yes, God still speaks to you and I. So, it is upon us to pay attention. Our second point is that the apparition happened at the grotto. Now, for those who may not know, a grotto is a place, usually in the Catholic parishes, where you find a statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary. There is usually a bench or seats that are there for people who want to have a moment of devotion or pray the rosary. Are we aware that that place is an invitation to pray and seek God through our Mother Mary? Or the skeptical voices that say that is idol worship are louder than our determination and our devotion. I have seen how such a place has also been misused and taken for granted, where people have long meetings and they are making noise and running around in that place. At a certain parish, which I won't mention, this man was sitting in the grotto and was talking loudly on phone for a long time. After which, he started taking selfies in the scenery because they are usually kept beautiful. Now, how many people did this man disturb that wanted to have a moment of devotion? In many of the parishes, the grottos are closed because of such abuses. In many parishes, even the doors to the church are closed because of the abuses of the church. Let us respect these sacred grounds. If you do not have a devotion to Mary, you can still respect those who have a devotion. To those who are managing parishes, plan some security so that the doors of the church can remain open. There is someone who is looking for a place of refuge and a space of silence that the church and the grotto offer. You and I, let us find time to sit in silence in these sacred places. Well, my viewers, that was the memorial of Our Lady of Lourdes. At least we now know why it appears on the liturgical calendar that Our Lady of Lourdes, and how exactly that came about. We also get to know that we need to respect these places. From me and from the studio, have a blessed day.